I am so excited to get to share with you the Liberation Tarot. I recently found this online by doing a search for queer tarot decks that have been most recently released. And this is a collection from a lot of different artists. And I have just peeked into it. I haven't gotten to really explore the deck at all. But I love the fact that in the introductions to it, it acknowledges the Romani stewardship of cartomancy at the root of modern taromancy and is grateful for the work of the Living Altar Project, right? To name it up front. And then they had an introduction from the artist slash collector of the project, a piece by Adrienne Maree Brown in the intro, a piece by Lawrence Barriner the second, and talks all about liberation. And I think there's something really powerful to having our work really framed before we even get into card descriptions and information, because they have done this deck differently, which I really appreciate. I love this blue binding. They've done this differently because instead of having it be just the Fool's Journey, it takes us on a road trip, as it were, into the psyche in a different way. Just the collection of artists in this project is amazing, right? Some are collage pieces, right? So we've gone from the artist and the whore to the doula, the establishment, ancestors. I mean, these reinterpretations and re-examinations of love, right? It's not just the lovers, it's love as a whole. The caravan, right? Courage instead of having it be strength. Hermit stays the same, but walking us through the notions of the portal, accountability, the chrysalis, and looking at death as lineage. How beautiful is that? The mutant, that just makes me giggle. Shadow into chaos. The star, wow, that's just glorious. Moon, some of these stayed the same, but they got reinterpreted through a lens of liberation. Look at that, uprising instead of judgment. Dream and the world. So that takes us through the Major Arcana. And then what they did, instead of having specifically cups, vessels, they kept pretty similar, right? But they had a different artist for each of the suits. And examine vessels from such a different range of things, right? Those measuring cups, coffee cups. And instead of page, they've replaced it with a student, rebel, healer, and crone. Before we turn to flowers as our next take. Love these. And again, different artist for each suit. Again, student, rebel, healer, crone. All right, how cool is this? Replacing staves with spirals, and such a different message in that too, right? To reconsider these cards in a very different way. Now, mind you, it seems like in the book that there is, it's not just renaming, but there's a reimagining of some of these concepts. So this becomes not just a tarot deck, but in a lot of ways, is a whole new oracular system in and of itself if you want it to be. And I love that notion, if we want it to be. Right? How do we want the world to be? What does liberation look like to you? What does it look like to others? How do we create a collaborative future? What does the world look like in your liberated heart? Ending with Crone of Blades. So I am definitely a fan of this project from Empress. It came out in 2023, and I am curious, for those of you who have gotten to explore with it, what have you enjoyed? What's been a challenge for you? What are things that you wish other people had known? I would love to hear in the comments.